Hi everyone, I'm Shalene. Welcome back to my channel. Over here, I analyze the different properties in Singapore and give you my unbiased reviews on whether you should or should not buy a condo using my structured framework. In today's video, I'll be discussing about Coastal Cabana EC or Coastal Cabana, which will preview in December and launch in January. So besides Coastal Cabana EC, there's also Revel EC in Tampines that will be launched early next year in 2026. So look out for my review on that as well. I think these two will be very popular considering Revel in Tampines sold over 90% on launch day at an average of 1766 PSF earlier this year. People can say that EC prices are crazy high right now, but the fact is that demand is still very strong. So looking at future EC land plots in Woodlands and Senja, they both sold at 782 and 771 PSF per square foot per plot ratio. It's safe to say that the only direction prices are heading is up. For this project and all other projects, I'll be using my VEP framework to see if it is worth your time and money. So my VEP framework is very simple. It consists of these three important factors which I can plug and play for different new launches or resale condo to decide if it's a good buy. So first of all, the V stands for the value in terms of entry price and PSF. What makes it a value buy? And how does the resale and surrounding new launches compare in terms of pricing, right? For E, the exit strategy. What's the supply and demand like in the area? Are there any significant transformation plans by the government? Any good schools and the future target audience, for example, BTO upgraders in the area? So lastly, the product itself. The product quality is measured by the land size, facilities, facade, and of course the layout. We also look at the location. Is it close to any MRT or amenities, and does it have any views? So let's dive into the project analysis. Coastal Cabana is developed by well-known developers. Alright, you have Qingjian, 4C Holdings, and ZD. They have completed plenty of projects in Singapore, including both ECs and private condos. Architect here, P&T, which is also quite atas. Their current projects include Pine Tree Hill and Sky at Holland. Let's start with the product quality. First impressions is a huge plot, probably one of the bigger ones in this area at 301,000 square feet. You have 16 blocks of 11 and 12-story towers with a total of 748 units. Looking at the facilities and site plan, here's the honest part. The block-to-block distance is actually 20 to 25 meters. That is pretty close. So other than the sea-facing and the HDB-facing stacks, you don't really have views other than your neighbor's house. It would be nice if the blocks were slanted at an angle, but of course, developers chose a north-south orientation to avoid west sun for the units. Can't complain about that either. If you look at the units at the sites, they might get some pocket sea view, but majority of the stacks are facing each other, so that's something to take note of. The upside here, 1:1 car park ratio. Now that is quite rare for current new launches. Plenty of facilities here expected from an EC which is meant to cater for families. So there are two 50-meter lap pools, barbecue pit, there's a gym, there's a 2-story clubhouse. Alright, besides that, there are 2 blocks nearest to the entrance. Those 2 will have a rooftop viewing deck. So I think the views from there will be pretty nice. You have your standard tennis court. Nowadays, I think even the private condos, they have like pickleball court instead of tennis court, or some don't even have tennis court, right? Location-wise, let's be honest, it's not that near the MRT station. They can say 15 minutes walk, but it's not that walkable in Singapore's weather, right? But you do have the convenience of Downtown East that is literally next door. And if you want, you can just go and freeload on the free shuttle bus from Downtown East to Pasir Ris MRT. Plenty of food options there. You have supermarket, your fair price, you have your enrichment centers, everything you need in a mall, you have it at Downtown East. Most importantly, I think the selling point of this area is that Pasir Ris Park and Beach is just 5 minutes walk away. So I went for a site recce there, confirm 5 minutes, I walked the whole route. Okay, I don't think there's any other EC in Singapore that would offer you this kind of sea views. You do get a taste of maybe Bayshore lifestyle without the East Coast price tag, and also without the ECP noise. So it's actually less crowded here. If you've gone to ECP during the weekends, you can get knocked down by a bicycle anytime. For the layouts, this is a harmonized project, so take note that the AC latch is not included in the strata area. There are 350 3-bedroom units, okay, 376 4-bedroom units, and only 22 5-bedroom units. Those will be the ones that are sea-facing. In terms of EC layouts, nothing exciting, but what I can tell you is that they're built very efficiently. I think other new launch developers actually need to learn from EC developers. If you look at this 3-bedroom deluxe, this is the smallest, the 3-bedroom compact lah. They call it deluxe, so it sounds nicer. At 872 square feet, it sounds very small, but they've packed in comfortable 9 square meter bedrooms, enclosed kitchen, and even a bomb shelter for storage or as a helper's room. All bathrooms, as well as the kitchen, they have a window, so it's very well ventilated. Essentially, they're modeling after BTOs because that's the main target audience. You don't have a yard area, but in place, you do have a balcony. Next, the 3-bedroom premium and 3-bedroom premium with study. I put them side by side because they're both 915 square feet. So it's interesting to compare where the floor area went to. For the 3-bedroom premium, there's actually 3 bathrooms, or actually 2 plus a WC or helper's toilet. For the 3 plus study, there's of course an additional study here, but there isn't WC in the kitchen. So the extra space, it goes to more countertop space in the kitchen. So it really goes down to preference and needs. I wouldn't say that one is better than the other, but for me, I don't need so many toilets. I'd rather have the study. Moving on to the 4-bedders, you have 4-bedroom classic at 990 square feet, more or less similar to the 3-bedroom deluxe. 2 of the bedrooms can fit queen, king for the master, but the 4th bedroom here seems slightly smaller. Probably can put a super single there. So looking at the 4-bedroom deluxe, 1012 square feet, the main difference will be configuration of the common bathroom and the 4th bedroom. Over here, the 4th bedroom is larger and can fit a queen size bed. Otherwise, everything else looks pretty similar. Next, we have 4-bedroom premium, slightly larger at 1055 square feet. There's an additional dry kitchen area there, but otherwise you have similar size bedroom, queen in all the common rooms, king in the master. I'll say one downside is the size of the kitchen. It seems rather small for a 4 premium, and if you see the 5-bedder as well, the fridge is kind of in an awkward position. Right, I've been to the show flat, you can go down and see for yourself. Probably you can consider putting a double door fridge at the dry kitchen area outside instead. For the 4-bedroom types, you also have a 4 premium plus study at 1163 square feet. So you have the option of knocking this study down to create a walk-in wardrobe, probably expand the master. So take note, I think most of the walls here are quite flexible. They're all hackable. Next, the 4-bedroom premium plus flexi layout at 1206 square feet. Now this will probably be very popular with the landscape layout. I do like this kind of layouts. It allows a lot of light into the unit. So you have the flexibility of where you want to put your dining table. You can have it just behind the sofa set along the landscape layout, along the balcony, even enclose the flexi area to create a 5th bedroom. And then you have your dining area closer to the kitchen. Kitchen here at least is slightly more elongated with more countertop space. But there's also separation of the dry and wet kitchen. Overall, as I mentioned, I like this layout quite a lot. It does feel more premium as the name suggests. Lastly, we have the 5-bedroom premium. Only 2 stacks here. One is 1367 square feet, the other 1421 square feet. This will very likely be your premium block facing the sea. Again, difference here will be in the balcony area. I'll say the one with the smaller balcony will be more worth it, but I guess to 5-bedroom buyers, maybe not a big difference in price to them. For these 2 unit types, you have both a home shelter and a utility room. So lots of storage area, and it also be nice if you let your helper have the utility room where there's at least a window for ventilation. The fridge, again, I hate the placement of it, but I mean, more or less the kitchen size is still in line with current BTO units. So unless you're upgrading from an older resale, you'll pretty much be used to a smaller kitchen. And nowadays people don't really cook, right? So let's talk about exit strategy. Your future buyer is not a foreigner paying 60% ABSD or an investor buying for you. They're going to be HDB upgraders from Pasir Ris, Tampines area, maybe even Punggol and Sengkang. Now, these dual income families, they're sitting on 200 to 400, 500k profits from their BTO, their newly MOP flats. And you also have those from Elias area where the EAs and Maisonets are going for $1 million. These group of people, they are price sensitive, but they are ready to upgrade without waiting 3 years for a new launch. So looking at future competition in the Pasir Ris, Tampines area, the new launches there are already selling 2.3 mil to 2.7 mil for a 3 to 4 bedder. So you have the newly TOP Pasir Ris 8, you have Parktown, which will TOP in Tampines North around 2028. And honestly, Coastal Cabana does not need to be at those levels to be profitable. It just needs to sit in the middle. So by 2032, 2036, the transformation in Pasir Ris would also have been fully realized. Cross Island Line will have been fully operational by then, and it takes you straight to Changi Airport Terminal 5. There's going to be more jobs in Changi Aviation Park, and the upcoming housing supply, if you look at the URA master plan, that will increase the pool of potential upgraders down the road in the Pasir Ris area. With Coastal Cabana's layout and its age advantage, I think it gives it a very strong position for exit in future. Lastly, let's talk about the price, because you've probably heard many people saying, wow, 1,600 to 1,700 PSF for an executive condo in Pasir Ris still can make money or not. Let's look at the breakdown. Let's be fair, let's look at what the developers paid for in terms of land pricing. 729 PSF per plot ratio. Now this is highest among ECs in this region. So estimated break even around 1,326 PSF per plot ratio after including construction, financing fees, yada yada. Expected launch pricing, they've already released the prices. 3 bidders are going to start 1.43 mil to 1.78 mil, 4 bedders 1.61 mil to 2.35 mil, and lastly the 5-bedroom sea-facing, of course premium on that stack, 2.44 mil to 2.76 mil. So we're looking at 1600 PSF starting from all the way to around 1900 PSF. I use Orel as a benchmark. For the premium facing stacks, they're going to be 1009, likely the sea-facing ones of course. Is that expensive? We'll compare with the resale condos in a bit, but here's the key point. ECs have a natural price ceiling because of MSR. There's an income cap of 16k combined. So developers can want to sell high, but if HDB upgraders can't borrow that kind of amount, the price literally cannot be pushed beyond a certain point. So this pricing is not random, it's guided by the land cost, your break even for developers, MSR, disposable income of upgrader families as well. Here's what the neighbors are transacting at. First of all, let's look at watercolors. Built in 2014, PSF there, now they're going for 1053 all the way to 1370. PSF itself seems pretty low, but because the units run from 915 all the way to a whopping 1700 over square feet for the penthouse and dual key units, the quantum of course also runs pretty high, starting from 1.2 mil for compact 3-bedder all the way to 1.8 mil for the penthouse units at watercolors. And how much of that space is efficient or usable? I think you can see here some sample floor plans for watercolors. There's so much wasted space going to the PS, the roof terrace, as well as the dual balconies. Next, Siesta. Alright, built in 2016. Some units here have nice sea views. The PSF here runs from 1133 to 1608 PSF. Bigger floor plates, of course, but again, some units have the dual balcony problem, so the quantum itself also, they go pretty high. But there are some nice layouts, including the 4-bedroom units here, so remember to look for me if you want to buy resale, yeah? Sea Horizon, I'll say this is the closest comparison. TOP 2016, this EC is right beside where Coastal Cabana's plot is. PSF 1171 to 1311, the quantum here ranges from 1.3 mil to 1.7 mil for the 3-bedders. Layout-wise, some have slightly long foyers, slightly bigger balconies, and but the one in the master doesn't look that bad, although there's 2 balconies. I don't know what it's there for though. Of course, again, all these are older developments where the AC latch is huge and it's included in your total floor area. Lastly, you also have Ripple Bay, okay, non-EC, but PSF here hitting 1800 plus for the good stacks. So these projects are 9 to 13 years into the lease already. What you're buying in at Coastal Cabana, 1600 to 1800 PSF is for a brand new EC with harmonized layouts versus a 9 to 13-year-old product at 1001 to 1005 PSF. Is Coastal Cabana expensive? At this moment, it's one of the most expensive ECs just after Orel. Not really, it's simply 2025 pricing for a brand new 99-year lease. Is it overpriced? Not really, it's simply 2025 pricing for a fresh 99-year lease in Pasir Ris. Should you buy this new launch? Well, Coastal Cabana is not for everyone. Of course, first of all, you must be eligible. Okay, but if you hate block to block proximity, you want a super quiet, low density condo, this isn't it. But if you value vibrant resort living, close to the beach, convenience of having downtown east just across the road, efficient, modern, harmonized layouts, fresh 99-year lease, but most importantly, a strong exit potential due to the upgrader demand in the area, then I feel Coastal Cabana is a solid buy. Not cheap, but also not overpriced. Okay, just a 2025 EC in a market where resale prices have quietly moved up behind the scenes. If you're an HDB upgrader trying to decide between resale versus new launch, or you're just waiting for the next GLS, this decision can make or break your next 10 years or even your retirement plan. So get in touch with me. You can drop me a DM or just WhatsApp me. My number is 9793-7906. We'll run through your MSR, cash flow, timeline risk, and see if this is a suitable purchase for you and your family. Thanks for watching. If you like my content so far, subscribe to my channel or follow me on Instagram at property_sure for more reviews.